Hey guys, it's Forsaken Reality here with the 34th episode of the RPG tutorial series. In this episode, we're going to be setting up the interaction event inside of our dialogue component. So basically, with this, we'll be able to create our widget and add it to the viewport for when we interact with a NPC or anything that has a dialogue component attached to it. So without further ado, we will get into that. First thing we're going to want to do is open up our dialogue component itself. And here we should have our interaction event already. First thing we're going to do here is we're going to drag out get controller cast to player controller. Oh, actually we don't want to connect this since basically our peer cast allows us to not have it go through here, and if you notice that if it's impure, there's a chance that it can fail. A pure cast is a cast that you know won't fail. You got to be careful using these because you should only use them if you don't ever have if there's never a chance it'll fail basically. So because there's never a chance that there's nothing else that's going to ever interact with the dialogue component. Like a random cloud isn't going to come up and interact with a NPC and start talking to it. So it's only the player that can do this. So it'll never fail. So that's why we would use the pure cast here. And we can create widget. This will be used to create our dialogue widget when we interact. We can just get our dialogue widget right there like this. We want to create a reference to this so that we can use it elsewhere. Dialogue widget ref. Remove this print screen if you if you have it there. You can also remove these. Hopefully that helps make a bit more sense. Create the reference. Get rid of those bubbles. Okay, so now we have our reference set. We can add it to the viewport. And the target will be the reference here. So what we're going to be adding to the viewport. You could also drag it up here and plug it in. And this right here is getting the specific player that's referencing it, so it won't just display for every single player. Want to disable the input mode so that it's not game input. So we want to type in set input mode UI only. And we're actually going to promote this to a variable. That's going to be our controller ref. So that's not done in my side project, but I figured it would actually be a lot better than dragging out this a bunch of times. We can just reuse this variable now. So now we have a reference set for our player controller. We can come over here and get our player controller reference instead of dragging out from over there. And plug it into our player controller there. And the widget that's focused is our dialogue widget. And one final thing, we'll get our player controller reference and we'll show mouse cursor, because we want to be able to select options when we're talking to people. So we actually want to set mouse cursor or show set mouse cursor, set show mouse cursor, and you want to make it visible. Okay, so that's creating the widget. So now walk up to them, we should be able to trace, and now we have this dialogue widget being displayed. I'm just going to put it in a bigger window so that it shows you the exact area of it. So then you have the NPC dialogue will be de-applied here. That's just a typo, don't really need to fix that. One more thing I will set up for this video is we're gonna need some way to exit and finish dialogue to move between things, and the way we're going to do that is we're going to go open up our dialogue widget. And in here, we have something called event dispatchers, which will basically be events that we can call in our dialogue component to do different things to our things, such as move through and change what's being displayed. So we'll make one NPC for non-player controller speak finished, and the NPC is basically our AI. So this is when we finish speaking, when the AI is finished speaking. Player and this is when we're finishing a player a reply, and then we'll just do an exit, which will be for just exiting if we don't want to do a reply. So now back in our dialogue component, after we set our widget reference right here, we're just going to go find event to exit. That actually needs to be plugged into this target. And then we're going to create a custom event And this is what's going to run this. It's just going to be event exit. And we're going to plug this into here so that it will notify this. And when this event runs, we will set input mode game only. Get our dialogue widget reference, get the owning player. So the player owns this widget. So now we're setting the game mode back. So now we can interact and move around in the game normally again. But we also want to disable our mouse cursor and edit that one. We need to set mouse cursor this. And we want to get we need to get our dialogue widget, and we want to remove from parent. We'll remove the UI. Now this isn't running yet. So now we have basically walk up, interact, our dialogue will be, this widget will display. That's going to be everything for this episode. In the next episode, we will begin setting up actually using our event dispatchers and start looking into some of the actual dialogue itself. If you found this video helpful and want to see more, don't forget to hit the like and subscribe button so you don't miss out on any new tutorial uploads. If you have any questions, suggestions, or comments, feel free to leave those in the comments section below or join my Discord server using the link in the description below. Thank you, and I'll see you all in the next episode.